I had just finished dinner at Kemi's house. Pepper soup and plantain, the way I liked it, with that sly smile she always wore when she knew she was winning. Kemi was the woman I planned to marry in December. She was everything I told myself I needed. Young, ambitious, unapologetically sexy, and most importantly, not Amara. Amara, my wife, technically. We had separated 3 years ago, signed papers and all, but somehow never truly broke the thread. Maybe it was our daughter, or maybe it was the comfort of history. Maybe it was the fact that every few weeks we'd still find ourselves in bed, sweaty and pretending it meant nothing. But it meant something. At least now it did. Because 3 nights ago she called me. And when I picked up, expecting our usual routine, what she said nearly stopped my heart. "Osagie, I'm pregnant." My world didn't fall apart. Not at first. It simply paused, like a radio suddenly silenced in the middle of a song. "You're what?" "I'm pregnant," she repeated, her voice calm, firm. "And it's yours." I wanted to hang up, to scream, to deny. But how could I? We both knew what we'd done, repeatedly, consensually, secretly. So now, as I sat across from Kemi, pretending to care about the fabric samples for our wedding decor, my mind was in flames. My soon-to-be wife didn't know the mess I was dragging her into. She thought I hated Amara. I told her that often enough. She was controlling, bitter, cold, I'd say. Lies that rolled easily off my tongue, lies Kemi swallowed whole. That night, after Kemi kissed me goodbye and I returned to my flat, I found Amara waiting. She wore that simple Ankara gown that always made her look like the woman I first fell in love with. No makeup, no mask. "I'm keeping the baby," she said before I even unlocked the door fully. "Amara, we can't do this. Not now. You know I'm getting married." "You mean to the woman who doesn't know you've been sleeping with your ex-wife every other weekend?" That shut me up. I'm not doing this for you, or her. I'm doing this for me. For this child. "You're being selfish," I spat. "Think of what this will do to everyone." "No, Osagie. You think of what you've done to everyone." She turned and walked past me, deliberately brushing her shoulder against mine. Her silence hit harder than a slap, and that's when it began, my descent into panic. I needed to fix this, bury it, erase it. Because I still wanted December. I still wanted Kemi. I just didn't want the consequences. I sat in my car for nearly 30 minutes before I could gather the courage to drive to Kemi's. The weight of Amara's words pressed against my chest like a cinder block. She was keeping the baby, and she wasn't bluffing. It didn't help that, legally, Amara was still my wife. I hadn't told Kemi that part. We'd separated, yes, lived apart, did our best to move on. But we never went through with the divorce. I had excuses, finances, our daughter, even religious reasons. Truth was, a part of me liked the tether, the option, the power. Now it was a noose tightening around my neck. Kemi greeted me at the door with her usual excitement. She was wearing the satin robe I bought her last month in Dubai. Soft blue, short, her legs teasingly bare. The scent of her jasmine lotion clouded my thoughts. "You're tense," she said, wrapping her arms around my waist. "What happened today?" I forced a smile. "Work stress. Too many meetings." She bought it. For now. Kemi didn't deserve this. Not really. She had flaws, but betrayal wasn't one of them. She loved me. Too much, maybe. Enough to believe every lie I fed her. That Amara was manipulative. That I never looked back. That our connection was just co-parenting. But I wasn't ready to lose her. Not after everything I'd promised. The December wedding was already in motion. Her parents had started sending invitation drafts. Her older sister was planning a bridal shower in Lekki. Everyone was watching. I couldn't back out now. So, the next morning I drove to Amara's house. She opened the door like she'd been expecting me. "Have you thought about it?" I asked without a greeting. "No," she said, "because there's nothing to think about. This baby is coming." "Amara," I said, stepping inside, "I will take care of you, of the child, of everything, but not now. Kemi cannot know. I'll lose everything," she laughed, bitter and sharp. "You mean you'll lose her? Not your child, not your integrity, just her, and maybe your perfect image." "Amara, I'm begging you. Don't beg me, Osagie. Beg yourself for all the mess you've made." Silence fell again. Only this time it burned, and then she said the words I hadn't prepared for. "I'm telling Kemi." I staggered back. "You wouldn't dare." She looked me square in the eye. "You can't run from consequences forever." I left Amara's house with a pounding heart and a silent scream in my throat. She was serious. I could see it in her eyes, the cold steadiness that meant she'd made up her mind. She was going to tell Kemi, not because she wanted me back, but because she wanted justice. For herself, for the child, and maybe for every silent lie I had ever slipped between us like pillow talk. I couldn't let that happen, not when I was this close to my future. I called Amara 3 times that night. No answer. The 4th time I sent a message. "Please, let's talk one more time. I'll do anything, just not this way." She left it on read. The next day I drove to her office during lunch hour, hoping to catch her alone. She came out with her colleagues, surprised but not amused to see me. "Osagie, this is harassment now," she said, barely lowering her voice. I smiled through my panic. "I just need 5 minutes, please." Her friend nudged her. "Go hear what he has to say. We'll be inside." We sat in my car, engine humming beneath us like my nerves. "Amara," I began, carefully rehearsed. "You're right. I've made a mess. I've been selfish, but I want to do right. I want to provide for this child, quietly, with dignity, no drama." "You mean you want me to disappear quietly while you get married in December like nothing happened?" "Number, I want peace." She turned to me, eyes tired. "You don't want peace. You want silence. There's a difference." I leaned forward, lowering my voice. "I'll buy you a car, cover the hospital bills, even give you a monthly allowance for the child. I'll co-parent properly, I swear. Just don't ruin things with Kemi. Please." For a second she looked like she might consider it. Then her lips curved into the saddest smile I've ever seen. "You still think this is about money? Or shame? Osagie, this is about truth. I gave you my body. Again. I gave you chances to be honest. You chose secrets." I couldn't argue, so I pulled out the last card I had. "You do this, and I'll deny everything." She froze. "I'll say you're bitter, jealous, that you're trying to destroy my marriage out of spite. You know how people talk. They'll believe me." That hit something in her. For the first time, she looked afraid. Not of me, but of the narrative. I softened my tone. "I'm not your enemy, Amara. We can still do this clean." She didn't reply. She just opened the car door and walked away. But I knew that hesitation. It meant I still had time. Time to clean up my mess. Time to rewrite the story. Before Kemi read the original, I always believed that problems could be managed the same way I manage my business. With charm, connections, and calculated control. This was no different. I had a secret to suppress, a wedding to protect, and a reputation to preserve. All I needed were the right moves and time. First stop, my family. They knew Amara and I were still married, of course. They just believed we were done, as in, she was out of the picture. My mother especially was obsessed with me moving on with a woman that suits my level now. So I went to her. "Mama," I said, sighing dramatically as I took a seat in her living room. "Amara is trying to destroy my happiness." She blinked, interested. "What has she done again?" "She says she's pregnant, and now she's threatening to scatter everything with Kemi." My mother's face tightened. "Pregnant? At this time? I don't even know if it's mine," I lied quickly. "We haven't been intimate in months, but she's angry that I'm marrying Kemi." "Then fight her, oh! You can't let her ruin your life." "I need your support, Mama. If she tries to say anything, you'll need to stand with me." My mother nodded. "You know I will. I never liked that girl anyway. She held you back. That was one piece in place." Next, I called Ao, my closest friend, who also happened to be Amara's brother-in-law. He was married to Amara's younger sister, and I knew he held influence in that family. "Ao, I need your help," I began, man to man. "Talk." I told him a carefully pruned version of the story, that Amara was making things up out of bitterness, that I was moving on and she couldn't handle it. I begged him to speak to her, to calm her down, to convince her to stay quiet, for everyone's sake. He paused. "You and Amara, you were still seeing each other?" "Not really, just a few times. Emotional moments, weakness. You know how it is." "Osagie," he said slowly, "you're about to marry someone else." "I know. That's why I need you. Please." He didn't give me a straight answer, but he agreed to talk to her. The next day, Amara called me. "You're recruiting people now," she said, her voice steely. "I just want peace." "Number, you want to erase accountability." I swallowed hard. "I just don't want to lose Kemi." "You already have. You just don't know it yet." She hung up, and that's when I knew. She was going to tell her. My heart pounded. My skin burned. I wasn't ready. I needed one more move. So that evening, while Kemi sat on the couch scrolling through Instagram, I sat beside her and kissed her cheek. "I need to confess something," I said. She looked up, worried. "It's not what you think," I said quickly. "Just Amara. She's been acting strange, saying things, trying to ruin our peace." Kemi narrowed her eyes. "What kind of things?" "She's claiming she's pregnant, that we've been in contact. It's not true. She's trying to poison what we have." "Why would she do that?" "Because she hates to see me happy." Kemi didn't reply, just stared at me. "I wanted you to hear it from me, in case she ever reaches out." She nodded slowly, but something in her eyes shifted. It was small, but I saw it. And suddenly, for the first time in years, I didn't feel like I was in control. I knew something had shifted the moment Kemi stopped asking questions. She just nodded, kissed my cheek, and said she trusted me. No anger, no tears, just silence coated in sugar. But I'd known Kemi long enough to understand her quiet wasn't peace. It was calculation. 2 days later, I noticed she'd stopped sending her usual good morning selfies. Then she stopped forwarding wedding updates. No calls in the evening either. Just flat responses. "Okay. Cool. Noted." Kemi was many things. Naive wasn't one of them. She'd always known about Amara. She just thought she was better than her. Younger, finer, more ambitious. She assumed I'd never look back, and I let her believe that. Now it was catching up. On Friday evening, I got a WhatsApp message from an unknown number, a single photo. It was me and Amara in my living room, arms tangled, half naked. Her hand resting on my chest like she owned a spot. The image hit like a bullet. Then another message followed. You're not the only liar in this triangle, Kemi. My hands trembled. I called her instantly. Kemi, I can explain. Save it. Kemi, listen. That picture. You told me you hated her. You said she disgusted you. But that's your face in that photo, Osagie. That's not hate. That's desire. That's home. It was a mistake, I said quickly. A weakness. You know how things are with her. I didn't want me to know. That's the only truth here. She was breathing hard, her voice tight. Not broken, just betrayed. Why didn't you just divorce her? She asked suddenly. I planned to, I lied again. You were going to marry me while still legally married. Do you know what that makes me? Kemi, it makes me stupid. And you, a coward. Then she said the part that chilled me. You think you're playing a game, but you forgot something, Osagie. I play better. She ended the call. That night I couldn't sleep. I kept waiting for the other shoe to drop. It did. The next morning, my office line rang. It was my pastor, the one Kemi insisted should bless our wedding. Brother Osagie, he said gravely, I received a disturbing email with photos and documents. What kind of documents? I asked, throat dry. Your marriage certificate and a pregnancy scan and a screenshot of a conversation between you and Amara. It appears you're still married and expecting another child. Pastor, I can explain. I think it's better you don't. We'll be cancelling your marriage counselling sessions until further notice. The line went dead. I slumped in my chair. Kemi hadn't gone to war. She'd gone nuclear.